Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you're doing all well. Today I'm starting a new story. We can see a one restaurant.
Imagine the boy you once saved comes back years later, but not as the same innocent child. This is the story of Kill My Love, where Jing, a retired assassin trying to live peacefully, suddenly meets someone from his past. Zuosen, the little boy he once protected. But there's one problem. Zuosen is no longer a child. He has grown into a powerful, dangerous man. And his obsession with Jing is way deeper than anyone expected. Will this turn into love? Or something much darker? Hey, is that kid also new to town? Who? Ah, that one. He's been living here for a while now. I've known him since I moved here, 8 years ago, after retirement. He's always by himself. Seems like he doesn't have any relatives or friends. And apparently no proper job either. He's always by himself. Seems like he doesn't have any relatives or friends. And apparently no proper job either. Already lazing around at such a young age? I knew he was up to no good. Not long ago, my son was surrounded by some thugs. That kid just walked right past them and didn't even bother to try calling the police. Oh no, is your son all right? The kid is not that bad. He's given me a hand before. Maybe he's just a little timid. Look at him, he's tiny. I don't think he would even win a fight against me, much less some thugs. So did the police ever catch that gang? Nope, I don't know where they went. It's like they disappeared into thin air. Xiaowen, are you leaving already? You usually stay till around 11 o'clock. Yes. Don't let what that newcomer said get to you. I know you must have had your own reasons for doing so. You've always been very helpful. Residents who've lived here for a long time know that. Just this morning, my youngster Kurt calling out for his brother Wen. Good night. Sai, a good-looking and nice beta. I would have introduced him to my elder son if only he had a decent job and wasn't so quiet. After that, we are shown Jing returning to his house. He feels very relaxed, and then he goes to the kitchen, picks up a cup of tea and starts drinking it. He looked very tired from work, but suddenly his eyes fall on the balcony. Someone was standing there, staring at him. He suddenly gets scared as that person slowly starts walking toward him. Jing gets extremely scared and starts wondering, who suddenly entered my house like this? At first, he thinks it might be some thief or intruder. But as the person standing on the balcony slowly starts coming closer, not only Jing, but we, the audience too, are completely shocked because this guy looked unbelievably handsome. His body, his eyes, his hair, everything about him was absolutely stunning, almost too perfect to be real. Meet, friends, the second main character of our story, whose name is Zosen. He looks incredibly handsome and absolutely stunning. Who's that? Indeed, your senses have dulled as compared to before. You didn't notice that you were being followed, Viva, and wasn't even aware that someone had entered your place. How sluggish. If I wanted to kill you from behind, I could have easily done so. 16, he also. An assassin, how did he know I was here? I've managed to stay hidden for 10 years now. Why are they suddenly showing up at my doorstep? Who sent you? I did. And my word is, Lo, I also brought some people with me. I don't know if you still remember me, but about a decade ago, in a warehouse up in the North Coast, you saved an alpha kid who has a special blood type. That's Mezuosen. After that, no one knows what suddenly happens to Jing. He picks up a knife lying nearby and throws it hard towards Zosen. The knife lands near Zosen, slightly cutting his cheek, and blood starts coming out. No one understands what got into Jing. He suddenly shouts loudly, "Get out! Leave my house!" Although you're not as sharp as you used to be, your skills are still on point like always. You were at the peak of your career 10 years ago, weren't you? It was only because you tried to save me that you now have to hide in this small, boring town. You better get lost before I throw a second knife at you. You wouldn't be able to kill me anyway, so why are you in such a hurry to get rid of me? After that, no one knows what suddenly happens to him. He picks up the knife lying beside him again and tries to attack once more, but this time, he doesn't have enough strength or energy to do it. Suddenly, the boy standing in front of him, Zuozen, first appears clear, but then everything starts becoming blurry. Jing begins to feel dizzy. The knife slips from his hand and falls to the ground. He says, "I don't know what's suddenly happening to me. Why does it feel like I'm slowly dying?" As he is about to slowly fall to the ground, Zuozen starts walking toward him. And just when Jing is about to collapse, Zuozen catches him by the waist. Suddenly, the two end up extremely close to each other. Very, very close. How sad. The assassin that used to instill fear in every organization. Jing, now just Brother Wen, a small town folk that gets sleepy after a cup of coffee. Did you know? I've been searching for you for a really long time, 10 years to be exact. And now I finally found you. After that, we are shown the night when Jing and Sujan met for the very first time. In other words, this is the moment Sujan was talking about earlier when he said, "I met you 10 years ago." This is when they actually met. So, let's see what happens next. We are shown a dark and gloomy night. Then, we are shown a little child who looked extremely cute and innocent, but his eyes were incredibly beautiful. Pointing toward a building, he says to his father, "Dad, there's someone over there." Then his father also looks towards the building and says, "Oh, that's Asian Jing." The little child asks, "Asian Jing, what does that mean, Dad?" His father replies, "That's his code name." Then his father says, "He is very special. People hire them for special tasks, and they are extremely skilled at what they do." The little boy listens carefully, and now we finally understand that his name is Sujan. In other words, he is the same little child who has now grown up to be very handsome and is currently staying at Jing's house. Then Sujan's father says, "But I must admit one thing. You're very clever and sharp, even though there are so many people here. Your eyes still notice Jing over there. That means you're very smart, and it proves that you truly belong to our bloodline." Then his father tells him, "All right, remember one thing. If you ever need to hire a changing in the future, make sure to hire this one. He is extremely clever and skilled. Most people prefer him for these kinds of jobs." Then his father tells him, "All right, remember one thing. If you ever need to hire a changing in the future, make sure to hire this one. He is extremely clever and skilled. Most people prefer him for these kinds of jobs."
Susan suddenly speaks up loudly to his father. "Have you ever hired him before? Have you ever hired him to do any work for you?" His father smiles lightly and replies, "No, son, I never have." Hearing this, Susan quickly says, "So, Dad, can't we hire him this time? We can ask him to protect us. We can hire him this time and get our work done through him." After hearing Susan's words, his father becomes quiet for a moment. A slight sadness can be seen on his face. He just looks at Susan without saying anything. Susan notices this too. He does not say anything out loud, but he thinks to himself, "It feels like Dad is worried about something. Maybe he does not want to do this time." After a short pause, his father says softly, "Son, right now, we do not have enough funds. We do not have enough money to hire him." Then his father says, "It's okay. Right now, we do not have much time, so we have to leave. But I will meet you again very soon." Persozantov kept staring at Jing continuously. He was looking at him very intensely and also felt a little scared. Suddenly, Susan's and Jing's eyes met. Susan's father noticed that Susan seemed frightened, so he said to him, "Oh, it's nothing to worry about. There's no reason to be afraid. He's a good person." Even then, Susan hid behind his father because he was still feeling a little scared. The man with the mustache is Susan's dad. He is standing in front of Susan protectively. Susan is hiding behind his dad because he feels scared after seeing Jing. Jing is the blonde masked man with blue eyes. He looks dangerous and mysterious. Susan and Jing look at each other for a moment. Susan's dad notices that Susan is afraid. Jing is standing alone on a rooftop at night. He looks calm and powerful. This scene shows that Jing works secretly and moves around quietly like an assassin. One of the men tells Susan's dad, bring Susan to the warehouse on the north coast to meet Christine after 7 days. Susan's dad replies that if he finishes his work in time, he will come meet them later. This means Susan's dad has an important mission or problem to solve first. Susan's dad says goodbye to him. He tells Susan to stay close to his uncles and stay alert at all times. He warns Susan to protect himself if danger appears. Then the dad leaves in the car while waving goodbye. Susan watches him leave sadly. Susan says, Daddy said Jing kills bad people. Jing is a good person. Then Susan asks, if I ask him to help us, do you think he will? Where can I find him? Susan believes Jing protects innocent people, so he wants Jing's help. One of the men explains to Susan, it's pointless. Master already tried. He says Jing is currently on another mission. Jing only accepts jobs if he gets enough payment. They also say Jing sometimes appears on West Street. The last panel explains that assassins kill people for money and only work when they are paid. This also shows why Susan's dad looked sad earlier. He probably does not have enough money to hire Jingy. The man continues explaining to Susan, although Jing chooses his own missions, he is still very dangerous. This means Jing does not kill randomly. He only accepts certain jobs, but he is still feared by many people. Susan becomes quiet and thinks deeply. He softly says, is that so? Then in his thoughts, Susan says, but I truly believe. The next panel shows Jing's face again. Susan continues thinking, Jing's different from the rest of them. Even though everyone says Jing is a dangerous assassin, Susan feels Jing is not evil. Susan believes Jing is different from other killers and may actually have a kind heart inside. This scene shows Susan starting to trust Jing emotionally. The story changes to daytime. A large modern house is shown from outside. Susan wakes Jing up and says, you are finally awake. Then he tells him not to overexert himself because the dosage was pretty high, which suggests Jing was treated or unconscious for a while. Then Jing asks, why did you look for me? What do you want from me, Susan? And Susan replies, I told you earlier, I want you, and I meant that, literally. I'd like to know that too. So the vibe here is that Susan seems obsessed/possessive about Jing, but even Susan himself sounds conflicted because he doesn't fully understand why he's so drawn to Jing after all this time. For the past 10 years. Looks like he's about to explain something important. Also, Susan's expression gives a very cold but emotionally intense/possessive ML, male lead, vibe. Now the scene becomes more emotional and a little obsessive. Here's what's happening. Susan says, that's why I decided to locate you, so I could figure out the reason behind it. Meaning, for 10 years, Susan has been strangely attached to Jing, but he doesn't even fully understand why. So he searched for Jing again to understand those feelings. Then he says, you can say that I'm ungrateful, but what else can I do? This sounds like Susan feels guilty, conflicted. Maybe Jing helped him or mattered to him in the past, but instead of staying away, he still came back and found him because he couldn't ignore these feelings. Then the important line, the way I'm feeling right now, having the person I've longed for. This basically means Susan has been longing/missing Jing for a very long time. Now that Jing is finally in front of him, his feelings are becoming too intense. He sounds almost obsessed, like, I finally have the person I've wanted for years, and I can't let go. Jing's face, blue eyes, looks nervous and confused because he doesn't understand why Susan is acting this intense or what Susan really wants from him. So the vibe is, Jing equals confused, scared, questioning Susan equals emotionally obsessed, possessive, but also confused about his own feelings. And NGL, Susan is giving, I searched for you for years and now I'm not letting you leave. Now the scene becomes more emotional and a little obsessive. Here's what's happening. Susan says, that's why I decided to locate you, so I could figure out the reason behind it. meaning, for 10 years, Susan has been strangely attached to Jing, but he doesn't even fully understand why. So he searched for Jing again to understand those feelings. Then he says, "You can say that I'm ungrateful, but what else can I do?" This sounds like Susan feels guilty, conflicted. Maybe Jing helped him or mattered to him in the past, but instead of staying away, he still came back and found him because he couldn't ignore these feelings. Then the important line, "The way I'm feeling right now, having the person I've longed for." This basically means Susan has been longing/missing Jing for a very long time. Now that Jing is finally in front of him, his feelings are becoming too intense. He sounds almost obsessed, like, "I finally have the person I've wanted for years, and I can't let go." Jing's face, blue eyes, looks nervous and confused because he doesn't understand why Susan is acting this intense or what Susan really wants from him. So the vibe is, Jing equals confused, scared, questioning Susan equals emotionally obsessed, possessive, but also confused about his own feelings. And NGL, Susan is giving, "I searched for you for years and now I'm not letting you leave," energy. This scene is using Omegaverse style logic, where alphas give off pheromones that can affect others emotionally or physically. From the panels, Susan, blue shirt, light hair, suddenly notices a strange flowery scent. Then he realizes, is this his pheromones? That means Gigi, Jing, black shirt/dark hair, is unconsciously releasing strong alpha pheromones. Why it matters. Earlier, Susan fainted before noticing the scent, so now the pheromones are becoming stronger or harder to control. Gigi is probably emotionally unstable, angry, possessive, stressed, or attracted to Susan, causing the pheromones to leak out. After that, for the first time, Jing actually appears in front of everyone and removes his mask. Then we see a man saying, "Don't hide him behind you. You have no idea who that boy is." After that, it is shown that a small child is hiding behind Jing, looking extremely scared. The man then says, "You don't know, he belongs to the same bloodline as his father." And that's where the story ends for now, but the upcoming story is going to be even more interesting. So if you want to hear the next part, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next episode. Bye.